Today's episode is for every coach, facilitator, leader, or practitioner who's ever relied on someone else's vision, whether that's the vision of another company, a modality, or a job to carry them forward. This is for you because there is a lot happening lately in the business world. And this is something that has been on my mind a bit over the years. And with the recent events, I really felt it was something that I wanted to share. And most recently, we've seen another large MLM, multi-level marketing, social selling company close its doors. And this most recent one is a company called Modality that has used to supply amazing, really healthy, great products for people's body and skincare and all those kinds of things. But this isn't the first company to do this. In recent times, there have been other big companies like this that have closed their doors, like Roden and Fields, Lorraine Lee, Tupperware, and there's quite a few other ones as well. And none of this is about naming and blaming or shaming or anything like that. This is about what these moments teach us and what they really remind us to come back to. And, I've worked with different clients and I've been involved in MLM companies previously as well. And I think that, those types of companies do create a really good environment for personal growth and understanding business and structure and support and all those kinds of things. But what's really important is to have this awareness that they don't give you the complete certainty that you feel like you have in that moment, because like we found, at any moment these things could collapse, they could close their doors. But when these things do happen, and I've been watching this on the socials, the people who survive these types of closures and changes, and not just survive, but actually thrive when these big companies collapse or platforms shift or business models change, the ones who do really well throughout this are the ones that have their own really clear vision of what they're about, right? Not just the companies, not just the method or the modality. They have their own vision. They have their own set of values and vision and legacy that they want to create about what's important to them and the change that they want to see in the world. So today I want to talk about why that matters and how building your own vision, your own personal brand, and your own body of work really gives you the kind of security that no other company can. And this is so important. So let's dive into this. So many people align with companies or systems because they believe in the mission. They resonate with the values. They get excited about the culture, and that is a really beautiful thing. It's incredible. And I've been involved with some really big companies and, really got a lot out of that structure. And it is a great thing. It's, super valuable until something changes and it's no longer what you first got involved with. So the company might decide to shift direction, they might have a restructure, or they might shut down completely, like what's happened with some of these MLMs. People pass away that have been, leaders of particular companies and fields. They decide they want to do something else, and all of this comes from a place of where there's been promised security only to leave people high and dry. And I think, like I said, it's not about blaming others. It's about taking our personal responsibility to ourselves seriously and not hand it over to somebody else. Because the truth is, whether you're in a job or you have a partnership or you're involved in an MLM, you're not in full control of what happens there. You don't own the platform, you don't own the product, you don't own the vision, right? And this is something that we have to be aware of. I'm not saying that any of those things are wrong to be involved in. I'm saying when you get involved in them, you have to have this awareness about the reality of what it is. And that's why I believe that it's a non-negotiable to build something that is truly yours. not just financially, but energetically and strategically as well. And this is why your vision is your own personal anchor, right? That keeps you grounded to what it is that's important to you. Because when everything else around you shifts, your vision is what you rebuild from. And this is what I've seen in this space, like specifically with my dad. I've been watching some people, and there are people that have a big vision about clean living. They're like, okay, this is devastating. My dad's closed its doors, but I'm still passionate about clean living, and I will find another company's products that will support my vision rather than going, oh my God, everything's collapsed and now what do I do? Right? They've got their own vision. This is so important. It's understanding that your vision is the driving thing, and you find other companies or products or whatever that support your vision, not that become your whole vision in themselves. Right? This is really important. So having your own vision gives you clarity when the business model changes. It gives you direction when a company disappears. It gives you power when other people are scrambling around like, oh my God, who am I? What do I do now that my whole life that was wrapped up in this particular company is no longer? And it's what allows you to align with the right offers, the right partnerships, and the right platforms, because you have a clear vision and you look for things that support your direction, not replace it. Right? This is really important. And so it even applies if you're working with another company, even if you're contracting, right? Even if you're certified in a certain method, your vision is the line that you're already on, right? Your vision is what makes your business future-proof. Now, I have had several instances myself over the years, not necessarily with an MLM disappearing, but I've been in spaces where similar things that have happened, that it's really come back to me and my vision and my personal brand that's taken me through. And so I want to share a couple of these with you. And firstly, there was one situation where a few years ago, I was approached by a well-known consciousness-based organization, one that focuses on multidimensional experiences and expanded states of awareness. And, that's work that I really love. And they invited me to teach a specific modality under their umbrella. So it was in my business, like I had a control of it in my business. But what I didn't realize was that I guess I realized it in a way, but I didn't expect it because it's not something I'd had happen before. It was still up to them about whether that was available to be taught or not. And so they invited me to teach this modality. I was teaching it. I did it very successfully for a year or two. My students were having an amazing results. I was very, in support of this organization and the work that, I was teaching. I was very passionate about the work. But then, out of the blue, they made a decision to withdraw that course as a separate offering. And so just like that, I could no longer teach it. It was gone. And in that moment, I realized something big. And that was that I didn't own it. I'd built something powerful, but it was built on somebody else's foundations. And so there was all these restrictions. I couldn't teach this modality anymore. I couldn't create something similar because, of their IP and all that kind of stuff. But it was a very defining moment for me because I saw at that time so clearly that if I didn't have my own brand and my own message and my own direction, I would have had to start all over again from scratch. But luckily, I was diversified. So there were still other things that I was doing in my business. And although it was upsetting that I could no longer do this, I just knew that what my vision was and how I wanted to help people would continue. It wasn't reliant on that one particular modality that I was teaching. And my whole identity wasn't wrapped up in that particular organization. right? So people didn't just know me as someone who taught that modality. They knew me as someone who was passionate about personal growth and transformation and helping people evolve. And that is my bigger mission. It doesn't really matter what modality I use to do that. And so, when that was no longer available, my business evolved naturally. Right. And at that time, I was teaching NLP, so I was still teaching that and timeline therapy and hypnosis. And then I moved into another modality, teaching HUNA as well. And so I could still carry on my vision without that modality or that course offering, even though it had become a big part of my business at that time. Now, this is really important for you to think about in your own business. I've had another situation which was where another business was sending clients to me for coaching. And I mean, that was great because there was a time that I was like, well, it would be my dream if I just had coaching clients on tap. And if someone was just going, here, coach these clients for me, and they're all paid, here you go, that would be a dream. And it was a dream for a while until that business started changing, until that business started being a little bit difficult to work with, until that business started not paying on time. And there was something that I needed to change about that, and I needed to get out of that. And although there was a lot of business coming from me through that path, it wasn't the only part of my business. And so when I stepped away from that contractual agreement, yes, there was a bit of a dip and I had to build out my own community further. It was still happened, right? Like it had minimal impact on me because I could quickly move on and fill that space because I had my own vision and I was diversified in where my business was coming from. And so this is really important as well. We've got to think about like diversification in a space because even for people who are solely relying on clients from the NDIS network, okay, so the National Disability Insurance Scheme, I think it's called. There's a lot of businesses that rely on clients who are getting paid NDIS. Now, if the NDIS fund dried up or changed or whatever, that would affect a lot of businesses. So it's really important that we think about diversification, that not all of our income or not all of our whole business or focus is tied up in one particular space. That's something that we don't have control over. I mean, even when you think about the different types of clients, it's a good idea to have a bit of diversification around where your income streams come to or come from. And so this is really important. And that's the power of having a vision and a brand that goes deeper than what you sell. It's not reliant on any specific company, product, service. Your vision is bigger than that, right? Your vision is bigger than that. So for me, my vision now, I am so passionate about helping small to medium business owners that really have an impact on other people, that they want to have a positive impact on other people. And I love working in that space where I can help business owners overcome the stresses, the anxieties, and the money blocks, and all the self-worth issues and everything else that gets in the way of them opening up and receiving more clients and making more money and helping more people. I love working in that space because the more people that I help who can help people, well, the bigger the impact that we have on the planet. Like, I'm very passionate about that. Now, that's my vision. That vision is not reliant on any particular modality or company or anything else. It's something that I can do from a myriad of perspectives. I can work with bigger companies, absolutely, who pay me on an annual basis to work with their staff and the CEO or the GM. I do that, but that's not my whole business. I'm not going to rely on one company providing my whole income. I've got other solopreneurs. I've got other ways that I have income coming. I mean, even when we look at income generation, looking at investing and things like that, we've got investment properties and different things, but I digress a little bit in that space. But it's remembering you need to have a vision. an overarching vision for your life and for your business that's not dependent on any specific details that could change. That's really important. And so if we look at this from a perspective of being a practitioner, right? You're not just a practitioner. So whether you use NLP, human design, astrology, or breath work, you've got to remember that your modality is a tool. It's not your brand, right? It's not your brand. Your brand is built on the change that you want to see in the world. It's built on your values. It's built on your message. It's built on your lived experience, your energy. And that's what makes you magnetic, right? That's what makes you resilient. That's what gives you the freedom to evolve without ever losing everything that you've built just because something closes down, right? Because people follow you, not your certification. And this couldn't be true. When I was teaching NLP practitioner training, so I taught NLP for 8 years up until December last year. And a couple of times I asked people in my training who went and checked out my certifications. Well, nobody. Nobody ever went and checked out my certifications. Now, I've got all the certifications. I'm a master trainer of NLP. I'm a trainer of timeline therapy, hypnosis, NLP coaching, plus, a bunch of other modalities that I've learned. But yes, when I was teaching NLP, people wanted to come there to learn NLP and they get certified themselves. But it wasn't about all of that particularly. It was about the transformation. It was about the skills. So a lot of the people used to come and do trainings with me, one of the communication and coaching skills that could help them and their clients get better results, right? I could have been teaching all kinds of things, but if my message was still the same in that it was going to help them evolve and help their clients get better results, they would have still come and worked with me. And this is really important. And so if you've been building your business around a specific product or a specific platform or a specific method, this is a reminder for you to come back to you, right? What do you stand for? What kind of impact do you want to make, right? What do you want to be known for in 5 years, regardless of what you're currently selling or facilitating? This is such an important thing. And I want you to think about this today, because what happens is when we're caught up in the details of the specific product, company, modality, whatever else, it's too detailed and there's too much room for conflict. What we want to chunk up to when we're thinking about vision is much more abstract. Vision is the transformation or the change that you want to see in the world. Vision is the legacy you want to leave behind. It's connected to your purpose. What are you actually here for? And all of that is much more broader, overarching than any specific detailed company, product, service that you do. When you get this right in your mind and you're led by your vision and purpose, sure, you can be involved in other companies and, really enjoy the benefits of the different structures and modalities and whatever else that they have there, but you just don't lose yourself in it. You stay true to yourself, true to your vision, so that regardless of what anybody else does, that you're going to keep moving forward. So this is what I want you to take away from today, and that is that your vision is your compass. Your brand is your voice, and your skills are your safety, right? You are the business. You are the foundation. You are the asset. And so build accordingly, right? Really understand that your value. And if this conversation has stirred something in you, if you're realizing it's time to stop outsourcing your direction to somebody else's company or model, look, you're not alone. This is the work that we do inside Business Alchemy. It's not about becoming a clone of somebody else's system. It's not about doing things the way that people say that you have to do them. It's about becoming the clearest, most congruent version of you, right? And building a business around that. That's powerful. And so if you're ready to build something sustainable, aligned, and fully yours, come and join me. This is where we do the deepest work that gives you the confidence to really align with your inner truth. And that's where the magic happens. I love it. It's so good. So if you want to learn more about Business Alchemy, send me a message. I'll put links underneath in the show notes as well. Let's make sure that your next level of evolution is on your terms. Let's future-proof your vision, your lifestyle, your reality. And I'll speak to you in the next episode.